Ready? Good evening. Thank you so much for being here for tonight's performance of Wondrr Ful. Now, if you think this play is called that because it's going to be wonderful, well, you might be disappointed. Kind of maybe lower the old expectations a bit would be my advice. If you think it's about the 7 wonders of the ancient world, well, for sure you're going to be disappointed. Anyway, I'm just saying. There will be no talk of the Grand Pyramid of Giza, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Colossus of Rhodes, well, you get the picture. If you think it's a clever title, Wonderful means full of wonder, after all, and you think the cast is going to stand here and wonder about things, well, that has the potential to be very boring, I would think. But we're going to find out for sure if it is.
Hey, Roger. I heard what you were saying. As a rule, I'm not a very good listener, so I'm still not sure what this show is about. It does sound like, though, that I need to throw away my whole trifold display presentation on the mausoleum at Helicanarsis, though.
Well, first, let me give you a life tip. Never do a presentation on a trifold display board. Unless you go back in time 40 or 50 years or something. Technology has progressed. Computers, my friend, computers.
Technology? I was talking about my display board, not about technology.
Actually, display boards and pens and markers and glue and stamps are all technology. Believe it or not, old technology, but still technology.
In some ways, you're wise. But I was wondering, do you know why it's called a trifold display board? The trifold throws me off. I mean, tri means 3. So you'd think there would be 3 folds. It's confusing to me. It's just basically cardboard that's been folded twice. And for some reason, they named it trifold instead of bifold. You know, our pastor used to call our church bulletin a trifold bulletin until we had one of these plays, and then, well, I don't know what happened. He quit saying that. That was a long time ago.
They called it a trifold because 2 sides folded together give you 3 pieces of paper, or cardboard in this case, to use to display information. They focused on the usable part instead of the creases, I guess.
I wondered why they called it that. Again, you are so wise.
Very true. Very true. And this is what this play is about. The things we wonder about.
Will the rest of the things we wonder about be more interesting than why trifold display boards are called trifold display boards?
Gosh, I hope so.
Roger,
Yeah?
are you wondering anything right now?
Not really.
Does that mean the show is over? Because I'm not really wondering anything either, and other than, is the show over?
Maybe so. Didn't take very long, did it? Now maybe people can go do something fun tonight.
Yeah.
Wait. Here's something I was wondering about the other day. I guess that would count. Ready? How come we can't feel it?
Feel what?
Feel that the earth is moving at 66,667 miles per hour. Why can't we feel that? I mean, my hair, which is obviously incredible, and the envy of all people, it's not even mussed. Wouldn't you think it would be? Oh, here's a thought. You know all those commercials and TikTok music videos where the wind is blowing and everybody's hair looks amazing? Think how great I'd look in that situation. Kind of takes your breath away, doesn't it?
I'm wondering if you've received professional help.
But seriously, most scientists say that the Earth is traveling through space at 66,667 miles an hour. Right now, 66,667 miles per hour. And rotating at around 500 miles per hour where we are. Yet we don't feel it.
That's because...
And another thing, when the astronauts are out in space, they're weightless because there's no gravity, right? Well, there's enough gravity out there for the sun to hold the Earth in orbit, and we know that the Earth is traveling at 66,667 miles an hour. So there has to be gravity there, right?
Roger, You see that bald guy over there? Just pick one. Doesn't matter. Do you know how fast he's moving?
Yes, I do. Because he's not moving. So, 0 miles an hour.
Wrong. He's moving at 66,667 miles per hour.
What?
Yeah. Think of it this way. If you're sitting in your car, parked in your driveway, and your wife is sitting next to you, you can talk to each other, right?
Well, she talks and I pretend to listen.
And if you're driving 60 miles per hour down the highway, you can still talk to each other.
Well, unless there's a ball game on the radio.
Okay, anyway. Since the car is going 60 miles per hour, and you're going 60 miles per hour, and your wife is going 60 miles per hour, and the steering wheel is going 60 miles per hour, and that French fry that's on the floor behind your seat that you were supposed to clean up is going 60 miles per hour. In other words, everything in the car and the car itself are going 60 miles per hour. It's just like none of you are moving at all. I mean, relative to each other.
What?
Everyone here is going 66,667 miles per hour. Everything here is going 66,667 miles per hour. The building, the chairs, the vents. So it's like none of us are moving.
I'd always wondered about that.
Well, wonder no more.
But how about that gravity thing? Like, the Earth has enough gravity that it's holding the moon in orbit, yet I can jump off the surface of the Earth, escaping gravity anytime I want to. I mean, I don't escape for very long, but still. And again, astronauts in space, they're not impacted by it at all.
Yeah, that one I don't know.
Hey, people are probably wondering if there are going to be any songs in this play tonight. I've come to a bunch of these plays at Gethsemane, at least when my daughters were in them. And I know every one of them had a bunch of songs in them. So there's probably people out there who are wondering about having to sit through some songs tonight.
I'm sure you're right. Do you know that the first play was in 2006? That one was called Gwen and Barrett. It had Lady Evola and Lady Baditude in it, and the Duke of Earl, and of course Princess Gwendolyn and Lord Barrett.
That was 2006? Mm-hmm. Amazing, isn't it? 2006? Yeah. That's a pretty long time ago. This is the 15th year of doing a play as a fundraiser for the youth at Gethsemane. The one in 2020 called The Last Thing Left on the Buffet got canceled because of COVID. And COVID didn't allow us to do one last year either.
COVID is a tough theater critic.
Anyway, each play had somewhere from 12 to 14 songs in it. So we've listened to somewhere around 180 songs in these plays.
Wow.
And out of all of those, only 3 of them have been serious. I mean, some were educational, like the song 206 Bones, which was about the number of bones in the human body.
I'm wondering, is there a reason you're telling us this?
Yeah. This play is different. It's shorter, and we're in it. Mm-hmm. And at least some of the songs aren't funny.
You know, I'd like to hear a song now. I can't believe I said that out loud. I wonder if it's too late for me to change my mind.
No way, Pat. It's way too late at this point to turn around. What's it like in space where there's no gravity? You just float, you just float. What's it like in space where there's no air to carry sound? There's silence, silence. Space is so big that distance is in light years. That's how far light travels in 1 year. At 186,282 miles a second, it goes almost 6 trillion miles. The universe is so huge, traveling that fast, you'll never reach the end. We live in the Milky Way, that's our galaxy, with 100 billion stars. Proxima Centauri is the closest one, other than the sun. What's it like in space with the sunlit earth and brilliant stars in a black sky? What's it like in space? There is emptiness mixed with wonder.
Hi everyone, I'm Morgan. I'm kind of wondering what you thought about that last song, but I don't want to waste a wonder on that. But I was wondering about the horizon. Do you know what I mean? Well, I know we get the word horizontal from it, but I wonder how we can never get to the horizon, and at the same time, we're standing on somebody's horizon right now. I mean, aren't we? Does it have to have the sky right behind it to be considered the horizon? And if so, couldn't somebody be at the angle so that right now, I mean, you have to imagine the building isn't there. I'd be standing on somebody's horizon. I know it's weird. You might have to really think about it. But we're all on a horizon right now. But when we try to go to a horizon, it's always seems to be far off in the distance. And how far is that distance? Well, according to my research, and I'm quite good at research, the horizon is approximately 3 miles away. See, the Earth curves at about 8 inches every mile. So that means if you are right at 6 feet tall and you're standing on the flat ground, not on a hill or a ladder or something, you could see about 3 miles before the curve of the Earth is out of sight. Of course, buildings and trees and things like that are still visible from farther away because they're not flat on the Earth. That would be weird. Trees growing sideways instead of up. I wonder if that's possible. Someone knows, I bet. But for tonight, let's think about the horizon and about how some things like dreams and goals can always stay just ahead of where you are. I can see the horizon where the sky is touching the ground. It's part of the picture frame that holds the mystery that has no bounds. We can see it and we know it is the start of eternity. For the sky goes on and on and on beyond what we can see.
again. The castle that we saw is standing where we thought it would be. The horizon's in the distance, forever leading me. You can't touch it, but you know it's there, like the spirits of those who care. It leads you and you didn't know just how far you could go, just how far you could go. Clouds drifting towards the sunset give softness to the sky. It's a Jackson Pollock painting that makes me wanna fly. There's always hope that's living in the hearts of those who dream, because they know by the grace of God we all can be redeemed. So as I stand here looking, I know where I have been. I've reached a goal, but it doesn't mean my journey needs to end. Steps can be a march, or I can dance towards the day where glories wait for me to find with a smile upon my face. Can't touch it, but you know it's there, like the spirits of those who care. It leads you and you didn't know just how far you could go, just how far you could go. There's always hope that's living in the hearts of those who dream, because they know by the grace of God we all can be redeemed. Because they know by the grace of God we all can be redeemed.
This is exciting, isn't it?
It sure is.
Have any of you done this before?
Yeah, like a ton of times.
Really? Wow, this is my first time.
This is the first time you've ever been outside your house on a weekend? I don't believe that.
Me neither. I know where your house is. It isn't here. So you had to leave your house to get here.
Of course I left my house before. Geez.
I think she means this is her first time being on a stage.
Of course.
I had a goofy 5th grade teacher once who wrote plays and made us perform them. So I've been on stage again like a bunch of times.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Yeah, we were in the same class, Goofus. Don't you remember?
No.
Well, back when I was in elementary school, we used to have these enrichment classes on Fridays. I always took some kind of drama class.
So I'm the only rookie out there.
Yep.
Interesting.
Not really.
It's not.
Not really.
You're probably right.
I wonder what we should do.
I don't think the audience would find it very entertaining if we all just stood here wondering what we should do.
Well, to be honest, I think this might be the most entertaining thing they've seen all night.
If we knew ballet, we could do a ballet dance. Do you guys know how to dance?
Not really.
Figures.
I wonder why ballet is pronounced the way it is. Why isn't it pronounced ballet?
If it was pronounced ballet instead of ballet, maybe people who play sports would give it a try.
One time, I went with my grandparents to a dance, and I'm not gonna lie.
That's
That's
gross.
Okay.
That's
Well,
gross.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna lie. It was surprisingly enjoyable, all right? Anyways, at one point they said they were gonna go to the dance floor and two-step, but I mean, I was counting, And there's a lot more than 2 steps. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, adults speak their own language sometimes.
Oh, and another time I watched Dances with the Stars, and they do something called the quick step. My grandparents wanted to try it, but they can't really do it anymore because they are grandparents. Oh.
Yeah, they're old.
Bless their little hearts.
I bet they're cute.
Little kids and grandparents usually are.
You know, just standing here, I don't think I wonder about anything.
That might have been your first. That might have been your first wonder.
Nah, you're probably thinking about wonders, thinking about some big thing, you know, the meaning of life, what heaven is like, or if the Longhorns are going to win another national championship in football. You know, big, important things.
I agree, Ryan. You probably don't count everyday wonders like, did you remember to lock the door when you left the house? Well, the package you ordered arrived today. Has the milk gone bad? Will the Longhorns win another national championship in football? You know, those kinds of things.
You know, I'm sure you two are right, but to be honest, I don't think I think that much. I'm not that big of a deep thinker, I guess.
Everybody's different. You be you.
Song time.
Everybody's different, everybody's different, everybody's different, but we're all the same. We all need food and water, some need Harry Potter, some need rap, but it drives some insane. Everybody's different, everybody's different, everybody's different, but we're all the same. Some need the TV, some outdoor activities, some say what we need, some that's a pain. Everybody's different, everybody's different, everybody's different, but we're all the same. Just look around, and what do you see? What do you see? Everyone looks the same, completely differently. Some walk their own path, some must follow trends. Every single one of us needs to have a friend. Everybody's different, everybody's different, everybody's different, but we're all the same. We all have basic needs to make it in the world. Every animal, men, women, boys, and girls. And there's something else comes from God above. It makes life worth living, and of course, that is love. Nobody's different, nobody's different, nobody's different, what we need is the same. Love and understanding, love and understanding, love and understanding completes everything, completes everything, completes everything.
So of course we're going to talk about poetry. Oh, I guess I didn't need to wait for the applause to die down. While I was rehearsing this, I thought I would need to wait at least 10 seconds for the applause to die down. All right, I'll just carry on while you wonder how long I'll be up here. As you no doubt know, poetry is thought to have started 3,800 years ago. It is thought to have begun with epic poetry. As you know, an epic poem is a long poem, like a story, that is typically about some heroic act. One of the earliest epic poems is called Epic of Gilgamesh, thought to have been written in the 18th century BC. BC stands for before Christ. Nowadays, historians often use BCE, which is before Common Era. When you use BC, the date comes before the letters. So, for example, 850 BC. If you use AD, or Anno Domini, Latin for Year of the Lord, the AD comes first. So we're in AD 2022 or CE 2022. Sorry, I used to be a teacher, so teaching is a hard habit to break. Here is an epic poem I wrote. It's called The Corgi. The corgi ran towards the fire, his ears and tongue a-flappin'. He knew his people were stuck inside, surrounded by their wrapping. It was Christmas Day when this event occurred. Decorations included gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Hold on, the corgi barked and barked. It was heard across the nation. I will save you, yes, I will, from this conflagration. The people stopped. They were confused, not believing what they heard. They whispered to each other, "What's the meaning of that word?" Their phones came out. Their thumbs did fly across the smartphone screens as they searched their misspelled words, asking, "What does that big word mean?" "Stop, stop," they yelled as one. They no longer paid attention to the flames, for you see, they were in need of comprehension. The corgi yapped and yapped some more. He really showed no fear. And then I swear the words he yapped were from the bard Shakespeare. "Love is a spirit, all compact of fire," the corgi barked and howled. "It's from Venus and Adonis, and he'd hoped he'd be allowed to save the family who once saved him on another winter's night." He gave the quote to appease the crowd, and again ran towards the light that danced and screamed. His heart did pound as he grew so near. His legs did fly through the darkest night as his shedding fur was seared. "I'm here," he growled, and then he stopped. His paws had found some traction, for he saw, just briefly saw, something that caused distraction. "There's that squirrel," he barked with glee, enjoying the smell so rotten. About that fire, the house was empty and soon to be forgotten. The lesson here, I'm sure you'll ask, is something quite profound. Troubles come and troubles go, and you can't rely on hounds to save the day. Unless it's true, no rodents are in sight. But you might increase your vocabulary if your focus is just right. But some advice: do not reveal from where the words did come, because if you do, they'll think you're loony as well as very dumb.
I'm relieved to say I've never heard that poem before.
Yeah, Jordan said she wrote it. If we're lucky, we'll never hear it again.
It's an interesting thing, though.
What's that?
Well, there are probably people here who enjoyed that poem and would like to spend more time rereading it and understanding it.
I'm not one of those people.
Me neither.
I like Dr. Seuss, though, and his stuff rhymed.
Yeah, I had one fish, two fish, red, blue fish stage that ended like in 8th grade, to be honest. Really not interested in much poetry beyond that.
My grandpa liked limericks. Let's see if I can remember his favorite one. Here it is. I'm sorry I ate a cheese pizza made by that cute girl named Lisa. It wasn't that great, not close to first rate. I remember it gave me amnesia.
It gave you amnesia? How would you remember it if something gave you amnesia? Doesn't amnesia mean you can't remember anything?
Don't overthink it. I just said it was my grandpa's favorite poem. I didn't say it was any good.
That's true. Hey, I'm tired of talking about poetry.
Me too. I wonder if we're the only ones. We're not, I can tell.
Hey, I just had a thought. Songs are like poems. I mean, some of them. They have words and there's usually a rhyme.
Yeah, very true. Oh, let's sing that song we've been working on for the talent show at school.
Whose woods these are, I think I know. That is how the poem goes. The beauty of the lovely woods fills your soul, at least it should. Lost in words, the memories live, feelings of when we were kids, or the joy of sunsets past. The heart holds those until the last. Oh, poetry. The sidewalk ends, the kids do know, and doctors soothe the places we will go. The funny rhymes make us smile and stay with us for quite a while. Back in school we got to read symbolic lines and what they mean. We tried to know in our hearts the meaning of the different parts. Oh, poetry. Oh, poetry. Oh, poetry. Maya Angelou and Ezra Pound, Ragged Claus, T.S. Eliot found. Langston Hughes wrote Hold Fast to Dreams. Wallace Stevens, the Emperor of Ice Cream. Longfellow wrote Paul Revere, Oh Captain My Captain. Whitman brought tears. Emily Dickinson could not stop her death. Carl Sandburg wrote In a Breath. Phyllis Wheatley, part of the change, rode upright in the angelic train. Poetry for you, poetry for me. You might like haiku, but it's sonnets for me. People like odes, so I am told. Blank verse is fine if you don't want to rhyme. 10 syllables, iambic pentameter. That type of poetry is a real challenger. You make up your own, make it complex. Write about the future or a massive T-Rex. Write about your heart and the meaning of love. Does a bird mean freedom or is it just a dove? Make it simple or hard to understand. Write about daisies or a lemonade stand. The world is your oyster, Shakespeare wrote. All my dad wants to do is find the remote. Words light a candle or they're lost in the dark, where they linger waiting for a spark. When they come to life in a drink container, adventure, your soul surely flies to that great reunion where love never dies. Oh, poetry. Oh, poetry. Oh, poetry.
I have a few things I want to say. First, I really wonder why flammable and inflammable mean the same thing, right? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary I have with me, I looked them up. They both mean able to burn. That makes me mad. I mean, I spent a lot of time in elementary school learning that the prefix in, I-N, means not. So, I would think that flammable and inflammable mean the opposite of each other. But no. Now, take the word moot. M-O-O-T, moot. Most of us would say that it means something that's not worth talking about. Like a kid saying that if it wasn't pouring down raining, then we could go play outside. And the adult says, well, that's a moot point because it is pouring down raining. Well, my friends, moot means debatable. It means open to discussion. So in other words, it means the opposite of how most of us use it. Though it's been misused so much that nowadays it is acceptable to say it means something that's not worth talking about. So we have a word in the English dictionary that has two definitions that are the exact opposite of each other, which is why it's important to know that the meanings of words changes over time. At least it happens over and over. For example, in the 16th century, if a writer, let's say Shakespeare, referred to a group of girls in a play, that group of girls would have most likely included boys. See, girls in those days meant anyone, male or female, 17 years or younger. It's how we would use the word kids today. Another thing, why doesn't the word do, D-O, and so, S-O, rhyme? Why don't have and shave rhyme? And by the way, I could go on and on about this. I could spend 10 minutes on O-U-G-H, like in the words rough, through, though, cough, tough, bow. I could give a lot more examples. Don't forget that the word phonetics begins with the letter P. Exasperating. Oh, and before I leave, I want to share with you that the symbol that looks like a backwards P with the extra line is that English teachers used to write on your paper to tell you to indent or that you need to start a new paragraph. Does this look familiar at all? Yes? I have a feeling it does. Anyways, this backwards P symbol has a name. It's called a pilcrow. And one more thing, pull yourself up by the bootstraps actually means to try to do something that's impossible. But, which is not how most people would use it. But if you think about it, and if you're wearing boots and you try to pull yourself up by the straps on your boot, you are just not going to get anywhere.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, good evening. All right. My name is Monticello. Yeah. And with that name, you would probably think I would be an expert on Thomas Jefferson. You know, Monticello was actually the name of Jefferson's home near Charlottesville, Virginia. It had 43 rooms, and it took 39 years to complete. It took 39 years because he would think of something he wanted to add. The cupola is an example of that. Jefferson founded the University of Virginia, and he was the chief writer of the Declaration of Independence. You know, that one document that says all men are created equal. Well, fun fact, he actually owned over about 600 slaves. That's kind of awkward. You know, I don't really know how that fits in, but anyways, if you can't tell, I'm more interested in Abraham Lincoln. His leadership in the Civil War actually ended up freeing the slaves, thankfully, and he was born in Kentucky and he moved to Indiana. He's famous for his work in Illinois, and also famous, probably the most famous person coming from Illinois, but he didn't actually move there until he was 21 years old. But one of the things people wonder about Abe Lincoln is just how tall was that guy? You're probably familiar with the photo. That's right, an actual photo of the president. He was standing on the battlefield at the time, and he was standing with a bunch of soldiers, mainly officers, and there were a bunch of tents, and he had on his stovepipe hat, like I've kind of got on here. I think they're kind of weird, though. I don't really know how they became so popular, just because they're super goofy looking. Anyways, he was so much taller than the men around him. He was about 6 feet and 4 inches tall, and the average height at the time for a man was 5 feet 6 inches. So he was about 10 inches taller than the average man. Some people think he may have had a condition called Marfan syndrome, but if you ask me, I think that Abe Lincoln wore high-heeled shoes. I mean, come on, you gotta think about it, right? He's so tall, like it looks goofy. And to make his arms match the length of his legs, he definitely would have had to have like some fake hands sticking out of his jacket or something. I mean, it would look weird, but you have to question his fashion sense already because, I mean, a stovepipe hat, really? Let me tell you guys a little bit about Abraham Lincoln. And I guess you guys know me and you guys know Lane, so I can't just tell you guys, I have to sing it. Not many people know this about the 16th president. He liked to walk around his White House residence. He would tiptoe so he wouldn't wake up Mary, and sometimes late at night it would get kinda scary. He was pretty slender and he was really tall. He stood head and shoulders above them all. Not a handsome man, but was full of bravery. It had to be to get rid of slavery. He would step outside in his stovepipe hat to enjoy the view from the White House lawn, wearing his high-heeled shoes. All of his photos are in black and white. A very peaceful man, not afraid of a fight. Never saw him smile, was always so serious, creating a persona that was very mysterious. He lived before Calvin Klein and Armani. He's not stylishly dressed enough to lead an army. He'd never wear tie-dye or baggy jeans, and he'd never be a part of any fashion scene. He'd just step outside in his stovepipe hat to enjoy the view from his White House lawn, wearing his high-heeled shoes. He would have dunked a basketball if it had been invented, and been no Civil War if it could have been prevented. I'm sure he wore a suit when Mary wore a dress. I don't know what he wore to his Gettysburg Address. 87's what he did say, but that's just 87 said in a weird way. We would long remember what he said there. 272 words that showed he did care. He would step outside in his stovepipe hat to enjoy the view from the White House lawn, wearing his high-heeled shoes. People say you can't make a fashion statement when you dress for war. You just dress like your side and try to be who you are. I say you can have your secret weapons and strategies to make the other guys look like fools, but that doesn't mean you can't wear your high-heeled shoes. All right, everybody. Abraham Lincoln was really quite a man. No matter where you are, you can always find a fan. As the president, he was really first rate, but he needed a designer who was really great. I can't picture him wearing Birkenstocks, but he'd probably wear some long black knee-high socks. The clothes make the man is not really true, but I don't think Abe ever had a clue. He just stepped outside in a stovepipe hat to enjoy the view from the White House lawn, wearing his high-heeled shoes. From the White House lawn, wearing his high-heeled shoes. From the White House lawn, wearing his high-heeled shoes. Wearing his high-heeled shoes. Wearing his high-heeled shoes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Austin, not the city, just me.
Yeah, you're not the city. Don't think 2 million people would look that good on you.
Very true, though there are some very huge numbers associated with me and all human beings. For example, the average human is made up of 30 trillion cells. That is a 3 followed by 13 zeros. So, my body couldn't hold 2 million people, but it can hold a lot of something else.
And we're made up of 9 octillion atoms. That's a 9 followed by 27 zeros.
For some perspective, there is about 10 million atoms in a period. A period is also called a full stop in writing. You know, the period at the end of a sentence.
So, an atom is extremely small, yet there are things that can still pass through atoms.
I wonder how that's possible.
So, imagine an atom was enlarged to the size of a cathedral.
Okay.
And now imagine that there's a fly flying around inside the cathedral.
Okay.
Well, that fly represents the size of the nucleus in an atom, and the walls of the cathedral represent the distance an electron is from the nucleus. So there's a whole lot of space between the two, if you can imagine something that small.
I certainly can. You know, people say I'm small-minded, you know.
I do know that. Anyway, neutrinos are particles that are so small they can pass through atoms. In fact, about 100 trillion neutrinos pass through our bodies every single second.
That's creepy.
It is indeed. Or it's just normal and doesn't have any impact on us at all.
I wonder if there's something, like a folktale or something, that might make this easier to understand, or at least less boring.
I wonder how anyone could find this boring.
I wonder how anyone could like macaroni and cheese.
Whoa! That's a change. That's quite a leap, you know. I mean, going from atoms to macaroni and cheese.
Now, speaking of leaps, have you heard of a quantum leap?
Of course, I'm very well educated.
So you know that it's some big jump or advancement in something, like a cell phone compared to those old phones that our great-great-grandparents had when they were kids. But quantum leap was first used to describe an atom, or an electron in an atom, changing from one orbit around the nucleus to another orbit. And somehow, it doesn't move across from one orbit to the other. It just magically, I guess you could say, appears in another orbit. So it's a change that is very, 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 very small.
You know, to be honest, Austin, my interest in what we're talking about has gotten very, 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 very small.
Okay, how about this? I wonder if there are ever any tour groups of fish at the Great Barrier Reef who surface with face masks filled with water so they can view the tourists.
How about this one? I wonder if Jesus were around today, would he ever refer to his disciples as the dozen dudes?
That sounds awful. Like, not respectful or something. How about this? If Simon, Peter, and Andrew had been cafeteria workers instead of fishermen, would Jesus have said to them, "Put down your hairnets and follow me"?
How about this? If they had been veterinarians, would he have said, "Put down your dogs and follow me"?
That's awful. Are you kidding me? Put down your dogs?
Yeah, I didn't think that one through. I was kind of picturing like the veterinarians like holding the dogs so they'd have to put them down in order to leave.
I wonder if it's against the law for a casual observer to wear a tuxedo. I mean, casual and tuxedo don't really go together.
How about this one? It was a bright September morning, or so we thought, until the test scores came back.
Huh? What do you mean?
The joke is that September morning wasn't so bright after all. Like it failed a test because it didn't study.
You know that Bible story about feeding the 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish? I wonder if any of them asked for tartar sauce.
I wonder if anyone among the 5,000 asked for gluten-free bread.
I wonder if it would have happened today, would Jesus say, "Hey, who wants tacos?"
I wonder if what a Winter Olympic slalom skiing champion means when he or she says, "My skills have gone downhill." I mean, that's a good thing, right?
You know, people say that God moves in mysterious ways. That's why I'd really love to see him dance. Yeah, lots of things to wonder about.
I wonder if we should leave.
Yeah, it looks like we should, yeah.
Let's see. Is Jack Westerman still here? Oh, okay, good. Just wanted to make sure you're here. We don't need you to come up. We've got it covered, but we're good. So, well. It looks like most of you stayed. Of course, it helps that I just got here, and I have no idea how many people were here when this whole shebang started. While we were performing, I'm sure most of you had more than a few mind-wandering moments. According to an article in Psychology Today, a person's mind wanders about 30% of the time. Of course, wandering and wondering are not necessarily connected, but I would imagine that when a person's mind wanders, it often ends up in a wandering place. So I was wondering, does God's mind wander? Then I wondered if God gets bored. It would seem logical that he'd be stressed and exhausted. But then again, I'm obviously not God. Maybe the things he deals with on earth take up an eye blink amount of time. Or maybe he enjoys it so time flies for him. Or what does time flies mean to the creator of all things, including time? I don't have the intellectual capacity to even begin to figure this out. But to end our program this evening, together of mutual wondering, we're going to bring out the cast and perform one more song for you. It's called "I Wonder."
I wonder if God gets bored. He knows everything. He can do everything. He is the Lord. He made me. He made Jupiter and he made me. I wonder if
God gets bored. I wonder if he'd do it all again, make a few changes or leave it as it is, do away with sin. Does he feel good about poisonous snakes? Does he like fruitcake for his birthday cake? I wonder if he'd do it all again. I wonder if God likes my did. Did my parents mess up? Is he ashamed? Does he get tired of a bill in prison hour? Does he ever take a hot night shower? I wonder if God likes my name.
I wonder if God takes a vacation. Does he ever need a break or ever want to turn in his resignation? Does he go to Disney World? Does he have a pass? Does It's a Small World make him laugh?
I
I wonder if God takes a vacation. I wonder if God lives in space. How does he breathe? Does he have a TV? Is he proud of the human race? Does he visit other planets? How far can he see? Would he help me understand eternity? I wonder if God lives in space.
I wonder if God's tired of this song. We've been singing lots of verses. Have we sung too long? I bet he likes to eat at salad bars, and he has 100 million acoustic guitars.
If God's tired of this song.
All right, everyone, join us. Turn your phone flashlights on.
Thank you, God, for words and tunes. We know you've loved us from the start. Your spirit fills every heart. We know you've used our love for you to spread your love and share the truth. So thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Woo!
What do we think about this band?
The band.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it.
Okay, before, you guys leave, yes, thank you so much for being here tonight. What a joy to see all your faces, right? We haven't done this in a couple years, so let's have another round. Yeah, you guys. We always wonder if it's going to pull together, and somehow it always does, doesn't it, Mr. Holmstrom? Okay, I would love to acknowledge we have at least 4 graduating seniors this year, and sometimes we forget to show them off. So, Luke Lundquist, would you stand forward, please? Let's have a round for Luke. And Mr. Beck Raymond right there. Miss Victoria, you're graduating this year, aren't you? No, I had that wrong. Oh, You should be. No, I'm just kidding. She looks like a senior, doesn't she? And right in the back, Ryan, can you somehow wave your hand? He's doing the lights. Ryan Bowles. Ryan Bowles. Every year we like to present something special to Mr. Holmstrom and to Greg. So Greg, hop on up here. Mr. Holmstrom, would you hop up here? And we also have one for Marcia McConaughey for all of your prop work and all the things. So I'll give one to you. One to you, Greg. Come on up, Miss Marcia. All right. Let's hear it for these three. Awesome. Yeah. Yes. And we have so many people. Hopefully you have a program and you can look at everything and everybody who's helped us. But Mr. Tig, Ron, thank you so much. He is videotaping it, recording it, doing all the sound. We couldn't have done it without you and your help. We want to give a big thanks to Angelica Lundquist and her crew in the kitchen, the Davises. Thank you so much. And we also have Linda and Louise Idbo. There you are. There's Louise, Linda. They have helped with all, and Linda Donahue with all of the props and the everything. So, all right. Am I forgetting anybody? Gordon, did you want to come up here first? Okay, he's right here. Okay, there's Mr. Gordon. He's going to say a few more words.
All right, thank you, thank you. We've got some concessions at half price over here. Please make your way over if you want to buy some to take some home with you. That'd be fantastic. The silent auction, as soon as the lights come on, we got 5 minutes. 5-minute countdown. I want to make sure we get those bids up.